Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off in 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And those that fear the Lord are speaking of the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans mainly, while you do have the Israelite foreigners who, through the scattering and living and mixing amongst the heathens, have come to look like them through the generations. And, this includes, righteous Israelites and unrighteous Israelites. As it says in Romans chapter 10, I believe, 10 or 7, they have a zeal, but not according to knowledge. Even though, the majority of our people are wicked, they still have some, form of spirituality and belief in a higher power out there. But as it says, there shall be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that great insurrection is going to come from the sword of the Lord, the wicked, as it says in Psalms chapter 17, verse 13. And that wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And those madmen are going to include, troops, foreign and domestic, mercenaries. And hey, we hear all this talk about drones and robots getting rolled out. Hey, it's about to be crazy during Jacob's trouble when, as it says in Revelation 12, verse 12, the devil is about to come down in great wrath and woe to the earth, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Esau, Edom, is about to pull out all the stops to fulfill his NW0, his great RESET, and the main target in the crosshairs are you Israelites. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, kicking your door in, taking you and your family, separating y'all and sending y'all to detention centers, FEMA camps, prisons, etc., etc. And, right now we're seeing the beginning stages of this with what's happening with the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos, mainly with this whole ICE immigration raid thing going on. You've got those that came in illegally getting sent back, and even those of the Northern Kingdom who are going through the legal processes getting rounded up and sent back as well. You've seen the videos of ICE waiting at the courthouses to get Jake. And again, hey, that is just the appetizer for when this devil really shows his horns and brings about that great insurrection, being like a madman, sparing none, and spoiling and wasting your goods and casting you out of your houses. Which brings me to the article I'll be going into with this lesson on cbsnews.com. Florida to receive federal funds to build immigration detention sites, including Alligator Alcatraz, Nome says, and was published on June 24th, 2025. And hey, they're talking about it being used for immigration right now, but best believe all these detention centers that have already been built and are being built as we speak are going to be for you American citizens during a time of martial law. And as I've been going into, especially you Israelites. And hey, those that fear the Lord include the righteous, the elect of the nation of Israel as well. And it says in the scriptures that some of us are going to get rounded up and cast into these prisons. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, that deceiver, Esau, Edom, shall cast some of you into prison. Hey, they shall waste waste their goods, and take them out of their houses, that ye may be tried. Hey, this is a trial and tribulation period for us to test our faith in believing in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which just means a complete amount of tribulation for whatever your lot is. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Hey, if Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai puts the spirit on you to endure unto the end, whether you make it all the way up onto the chariots or you have to be a martyr for this truth, hey, standing firm as a good soldier, you will receive that crown and be the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven. But as it said, the devil shall cast some of us into prison. That great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Monday the federal government will fund an effort by Florida to set up immigration detention centers, which include a proposed site in the Everglades that state officials have dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. And, speaking of Alcatraz, about a month or so ago, Donald Trump was talking about reopening Alcatraz to send dissidents there. And then you had Trump talking to the president of, I believe it's El Salvador, saying, look, we're going to send some of our illegal immigrants here, but hey, we may send some of our homegrown American citizen criminals there as well. And we know that with this great persecution that's coming down the pipe, they're going to label the men of the Lord as what? Domestic teists, black identity extremists, which, we are not black, we're various shades of brown. And, the 12 tribes doesn't just include the so-called Negroes. It includes the so-called Latinos and Native Americans as well. But they're about to, make a man an offender for a word and lay those snares, as it says in Isaiah chapter 29. So, hey, that great insurrection is quickly coming down. And Donald Trump looks to be the perfect man for the job. And also, what? They're using Guantanamo Bay to send, illegal immigrants there as well. I think they've got around 20 to 30,000 there. So that could easily be shifted to send enemy of the states there. And again, we know the devil shall cast some of us into prison that we may be tried. Noem said the detention facilities in Florida will be funded in large part by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA's Shelter and Services Program, an initiative created by Congress to support groups and cities receiving migrants and asylum seekers released from federal custody along the U.S.-Mexico border. Under President Trump's leadership, we are working at turbo speed on cost-effective and innovative ways to deliver on the American people's mandate for mass deportations of criminal illegal aliens, Noem said in a statement to CBS News. We will expand facilities and bed space in just days, thanks to our partnership with Florida. Officials in Tallahassee first announced plans to help the federal government expand its capacity to hold detainees awaiting deportation last week. Florida Attorney General James Uthemeier said a largely abandoned airfield in the Everglades, and hey, you got a lot of these businesses going out, box stores, which could easily be converted into detention centers. Uthemeier said a largely abandoned airfield in the Everglades would be repurposed as a detention facility to house immigrants living in the U.S. illegally with criminal records. He dubbed it Alligator Alcatraz, saying any detainees seeking to escape would face alligators and pythons in the treacherous wetlands surrounding the site. On Monday, Uthemeier announced the federal government had approved the state's plan to build Alligator Alcatraz and other facilities that he said could collectively house as many as 5,000 detainees. He said the facilities could start receiving detainees early next month, calling them temporary. Back in Revelation 12, verse 12, the devil is coming down in great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That's it with this article. And, we can see Trump is moving at light speed with a lot of his different agendas, which, other brothers and myself are heavily speculating that, Donald Trump could very well be that cruel Lord in Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. And the Egyptians, the spiritual Egyptians, you Americans, specifically you American Edomites, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. And with how Trump and his administration are moving, he's moving in a very fierce and cruel manner, cutting off a lot of government benefits for people, people starting to lose their jobs, with the big, beautiful bill that they're looking to pass. That's just going to, further inflate the debt to this country. It's just about to be a all-out chaos. Oh, lest we forget the tariffs as well. That brewing situation in between Israel and Iran. Hey, it's about to get crazy out here. And in the midst of it, that devil is going to be coming after you Israelites like a madman, sparing none. And, it's starting with the northern kingdom first. But as we have a saying over here at GMS, the northern kingdom gets it first, but then the southern kingdom gets it the worst. Hey, you so-called Negroes, so-called blacks, so-called African American, you've got nothing to gloat about with your brothers getting deported, because that sword's going to be turned to your ass as well. But this is Ezekiel chapter 21. I'm going to start at verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. Back in Psalm 17, verse 13, hide me from the wicked, which is thy sword. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? Should we be worrying about a hot girl or a hot boy's summer? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree, and he hath given it to be furbished that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer, Esau Edom, so-called white man, that devil who's going to cast some of us into prison. Cry and howl, son of man, for it, that sword, it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon the thigh. And, talks of Alligator, Alcatraz, and all these other draconian measures Trump is coming down with just shows that this sword is being furbished to come on the necks of you Israelites. And back in 2 Esdras 16, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And while this great insurrection is coming on the entire nation, the difference is that the elect are going to have that protective hedge of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai over them to guide them through it. I'm going to read verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, the remnant, the elect. In America, the 1/3 of the elect. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Zechariah 13. In all the land, speaking of America, 2 parts therein shall be cut off, but the third shall go through the fire and be tried and refined as gold. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Hey, if we endure all these things, however the chips may fall, hey, we will receive that crown of life. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Mabol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.